Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of a post-race analysis here. I am Keegan Schneider. We're going to get set to go with this one on the channel. A great race in the Penzoil 400 today. It was entertaining basically from start to finish. Every restart they had was crazy, and they had a lot of restarts throughout the course of the race. Even on the longer runs, it was tough to tell exactly who the fastest car was for at least the first half of the race. But then after a while, you could strongly see that Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. were going to be the two guys to beat. But as the unpredictable race went on at the end of stage two, Truex had to restart at the rear of the field, feeling that they did not get all the lug nuts on the car, and then he ended up getting into heavy traffic on the restart, ended up in the wall, blowing a tire. That pretty much put a damper on the fact of him winning the race. And then Chase Elliott, a little later, under a caution, or no, it was a long green flag run. Chase Elliott, he seemingly had the fastest car basically all day. He won stage one, he won stage two, and then he was looking at his opportunity to win the race and take over. Blaney beat him off a pit road, but as the long runs were going to wear on, I'm pretty sure that Elliott would have ended up getting around Blaney anyway. And with about 46 laps to go, Elliott blows the tire, he hits the wall, and it was my man Ryan Blaney's time to shine. Joey Logano actually had a pretty good restart out in front. The game that Stenhouse, it was Stenhouse, Ryan Preece, John Hunter Nemechek. They all tried to stay out as long as they could, hoping for the caution. So when Elliott blew the tire, brought the caution out, they were all able to stay on the lead lap. Unfortunately for Ryan Preece, though, when he was running second, he had some sort of mechanical failure. He had to go behind the wall, and he entered the garage. His day was done. But for Ricky Stenhouse, John Hunter Nemechek, they restarted on the front row. Nemechek ended up falling back through the field, but Stenhouse was actually able to stay inside the top 10 and tried to give himself a good solid day to the finish. So as Stenhouse was trying to survive, so was Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick. Blaney ended up getting around Harvick, then passed Logano coming to the line with 12 laps to go, and another guy that was seemingly having a great run on that final run of the race, final longer run of the race of Alex Bowman. It felt like he was coming right after Blaney. It was going to be a great battle between the two of them, and maybe even Logano could have caught back up and made it a three-car battle, but with 6 laps to go, Ross Chastain ends up spinning out, causing a big crash. Well, not a big crash, but it ends up spinning out into the inside wall. He causes a single-car crash. Caution is going to wave, and then the tire strategy played into effect on the under the caution for that pit stop. And I knew Ryan Blaney was in a tough spot being in the lead, because if he was going to stay out, I'm sure a lot more guys would have pit. And if he would have pit, then like he did, we were going to see a lot of guys stay out, and that happened to be the case. And then when he was on pit road, they took 4 tires, and he ended up restarting in 12th because there were 3 or 4 guys ahead of him that took 2 tires. So I believe the top 8 stayed out of the pits. Top 8 or 9 stayed out of the pits. And that was going to set up for another crazy restart. Joey Logano got a pretty good jump. He got the push from Stenhouse from behind, got him out in front. And then there was some contact between Matt DiBenedetto, William Byron going into turn 1, slowed everybody down. Logano started to take off, got to the white flag, and as they were coming out of turn 4, cars were all over the place. I don't know how there wasn't a big wreck after that, but John Hunter Nemechek did spin to the infield. There was a lot of contact between a lot of guys. I know Blaney got caught up in a big tire rub moment, and as he was trying to slip on through the field as much as possible. So Joey Logano goes on to win. Logano's now locked into the playoffs. He's the second different winner in the first 2 races of the year. In my preseason prediction video, I had Logano winning this race. I predicted earlier that Kevin Harvick was going to win. Harvick had a great short-run car, as I predicted, and I knew the race was going to end on a short run, but he was one of the guys that came onto pit road at the end as well. He would have restarted in 4th otherwise. And, I mean, it was a tough break for my fantasy team. It was looking so good until that caution came out. I had 4 guys in the top 10. And then the pit stops came, and I think I only ended up with 1 guy finishing in the top 10. I'd have to go back and look at the unofficial results. Of course, as of right now, they're probably still trying to sort everything out as far as who finished where, because Blaney was 11th. I know for a fact, but it ended up Joey Logano was first. Second place, it was a surprise finish, Matt DiBenedetto. I don't think anybody saw DiBenedetto finishing second, Ricky Stenhouse finishing third. That pit strategy had played into effect. Then he stayed out again on the last pit stop, finished even better. Um, and fourth, Austin Dillon. I don't think anybody saw any of the RCR cars having that great of a day, even though Tyler Reddick was running in the back half of the top 10 there later in the third stage of the race as well before the caution came out. And I think he ended up coming onto pit road. He was one of the guys that pit. But so, yeah, Austin Dillon was fourth. Jimmy Johnson in fifth, and Johnson had a very solid day. Pretty much all four Hendrick cars, and then if you include Stenhouse and a Hendrick engine, they were inside the top 15 most of the day. But all four Hendrick guys were pretty much in the top 10 the entire day. Bowman would have had a good chance to win if they stayed green there at the end. But even Johnson staying out, good pitch call for all those guys that stayed out. Bubba Wallace, he finished sixth. I mean, unbelievable. Like, so many wild cards finished in the top 10. Ty Dillon, he finished 10th in the race. So just a crazy, crazy moment. So that was pretty much my thoughts on the race. I thought it was a very, very entertaining, very good, unpredictable race. And as a NASCAR fan, you couldn't really ask for much more, except for the fact that I was heartbroken. Once again, Blaney lost in such a close fashion. I mean, I'm not saying he had the race won because Bowman was coming. It was definitely going to be a battle, it seemed like, between those two for the win in the last 6 laps. He had about a half-second lead on him still, but Bowman was coming. It was going to be a heck of a lot closer of a finish, and even if he would have broken the heartbreaking fashion to Bowman, he still would have finished second, had an even better points day versus finishing 11th. So that's a little bit of a stinker, so to say, for Ryan Blaney. So now let's take a look at my fantasy team here. So here's a look at the fantasy team. Of course, the results aren't exactly finished because of the race ending under yellow. But I did think that Ross Chastain was going to have a good shot at a good run today. Like I said, he was looking good. But between him and Kurt Busch, I kind of figured Kurt Busch was going to prevail at the end of the race. So therefore, that's why I benched or put Ross Chastain in my garage, so to say, there at the finish. Kyle Larson had a good day. He finished inside the top 10 in 9th. Kevin Harvick finished 8th. Of course, Harvick was probably going to run about 4th if the caution didn't come out at the end. Bowman was looking good. He probably would have finished 2nd, but instead he finished 13th. So that wasn't good. Eric Almirola, he was running in 10th at the time of the caution. So again, I had all 4 of those guys in the top 10. Only 2 of them finished in the top 10. Not 1, but 2. And Larson and Harvick finishing 8th and 9th. Harvick got a decent amount of stage points, as well as Larson got 7 stage points. Bowman had 5. But again, yeah, the second place finish. Bowman had 29 points. It's average points day, but he could have had a much better day if he would have finished second rather than, or even possibly have won the race rather than finishing 13th. And then, of course, Eric Almirola, he was 10th, and then he ends up having a terrible restart. He finishes outside the top 20, as did Kurt Busch. Busch had to pit unscheduled with Chastain during the long green flag run there before the second to last caution with 6 laps to go in the race. There were a little more cautions than what I expected in this one. But, yep, that's going to be the case. So, again, amazing with my picks so far this season. So, I'm 1-1 on my preseason predictions. And that is because I took Joey Logano to win before the season even started. I predicted him to win here at Las Vegas. And then also on my preseason prediction, ended up picking Denny Hamlin to win the predicted Ryan Blaney to win the 500. He finished 2nd, so I'm very close to being 2-0 there. But then on my actual week-by-week predictions, I did take Harvick. He finished 8th, even though he had a shot there. If he would have stayed out, I think he would have been in good contention. I mean, he would have been restarting 2nd. His car was probably the best out of anybody on the short run over the course of the day. Logano would have done, hopefully, a good job to try and hold him off, but that was that pretty much. Of course, Harvick had him in each stage just in case he would win a stage. He finished 3rd, 6th, and then obviously 8th in the race. But Ford did win with Logano winning, so I did get 10 bonus points for Joey winning the race. So again, 1-1 in the preseason predictions, 1-1 on the week-by-week predictions over the course of the season. My fantasy team, it's looking all right. we'll see where my actual ranking is. Let me refresh the page here. See if they might have updated. No. So, yeah, that's going to be still the results are unofficial here. But we will check back in here on my predictions for the Auto Club Speedway for the Auto Club 400 next week. So when that comes, we'll see where I'm at ranking-wise after the first two races. Not as good here as what I did at Daytona. It was looking so promising until that last caution. And not just for the fantasy team, but for my heart, as Ryan Blaney might have been able to pull off his first win of the season and his fourth career win. But nevertheless, that's going to be it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the race, comment down below what you enjoyed about it. Comment down below if you thought it was a good or a bad race. And also hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content. And I'll see you guys in the next video.